You're listening to Jason Lee Willis read Examining the Seven Kings. The preface. A different kind of Christian. I don't like to be wrong, but if truth be told, I'm a bit of a coward, which is why I won't argue with my wife unless I know for certain that I'm right. This gives the impression that I'm always right, when in fact, I'm an anxious mess most of the time. But when I believe something to be true, I'll go on record. But the end times? Oh boy, why do I even bother tackling a book on the end times when most of it's going to be wrong? Yes, I have an opinion, but so does every other Tom, Dick, and Harry. Why should I even bother? Guilt? If I don't say something, I'll feel even worse if I'm right. I'm not smart. One look at my college transcripts, ACT results, GPA, or my results on Jeopardy could tell you this much. When I tried to figure out what to do with my life, I ended up as an English teacher because interpreting poetry, short stories, and plays came pretty easy for me. For the past 3 decades, that's what I did, interpret literature. As an English teacher, it was acceptable to be a little eccentric. At the tail end of my teaching career, I began to reflect on my 3rd grade teacher, who tried to put me into a special education program, which was weird because I could read at an adult level and would skip my homework assignments to work on preparing my slides for my new electric microscope at home. How dare she? Yet, after 30 years of sitting in special education meetings, I began to realize something about myself that my 3rd grade teacher likely noticed too. So I asked my colleague, who was just finishing her special education degree, and without explaining my purpose, she professionally agreed that I fit the top 20 identifiers for autism. Back in the 1970s, I doubt much was known about autism, and having worked with dozens of autistic students over the past 30 years, our shared traits became pretty obvious. When I go down a rabbit hole, I go all the way. Fortunately, my autistic wiring is pretty functional in social situations, which is why I was able to just act the part of a normal kid. But my thought process and obsession with random details made my literary interpretations quite different from most others. With biblical interpretations, it's the same way. I'm a terrier once I get a hold of something, and I can't let go if I know there's a verse about something that amplifies the meaning. So it's not intelligence or a degree that makes me worthy of your time. I'm just different. I'm not trying to get attention by being weird for the sake of weirdness, but my brain often doesn't see things the same way a normal person sees it. So when I'd be in Bible studies, and the group leader would throw out a theory, the whole group would nod in orthodoxy, and I'd be flinching. Yes, Jason? What about... I'm not smart, but if you compare my brain to a computer has processing speed, hard drive space, and RAM. Now, my processing speed is garbage. If you catch me off guard, I can't solve problems under pressure. 2 days later, I'll get what you want. I also have issues with my hard drive. I'm one of those finger snappers that can't quite pull up the information, but I know it's in there somewhere. But RAM, random access memory, RAM is what allows you to have 20 programs or tabs open at once. My brain can see the big picture and the common themes between 20 unrelated things. That's my gift, or curse. When I was on a playground, kids would say, "You're different," and it hurt a little. Granted, I didn't want to be like them, but I also didn't understand them either. Now, folks in my Bible studies say, "You're different," and suddenly it's a compliment. I only bring up my wiring because of what happened in the days of Jesus. These folks had waited for centuries upon centuries for the prophecies to be fulfilled. Have you seen the number of prophecies in the Old Testament? Well, what happened? Jesus showed up and nobody put two and two together. All of those trained Pharisees got the interpretations wrong. Heck, even his disciples missed most of it. The end times will likely be the same. We're gonna be surprised. Folks are going to be tricked. The orthodox interpretations are gonna be wrong. You know, if I was Tim LaHaye or Jerry Jenkins, which I love those books, I'd be smiling all the way to the bank, but due to the popularity, I'd worry that all my theories were wrong. Why? Too many folks now believe them. So, a lifetime of being on the wrong side of normal has given me the confidence to be weird. Granted, I don't think I'm being weird. I think it's pretty black and white. This entire project is based off of a couple verses that sparked an idea in my odd brain. So before you go and share this with normal people, keep in mind where I'm coming from. Ready for the big idea? The Antichrist will be genetically engineered. He'll be a clone of sorts. Before the weird finish, chapters from now, I'll be diving into some pretty traditional end times verses as I build a 12-chapter argument. Remember my RAM capacity? Before I start tying the threads